Let's look at the numbers in Upper Northwest DC real estate market. It is not one market right now. It's actually four. And depending on which segment you're in, your strategy looks completely different. If you're watching this as a buyer or a seller in zip codes 20007, 20008, 20015, or 20016, this is the data that actually matters to you. I'm Sherine Monir, a realtor, and I'm also a licensed designer. I am with Compass Real Estate here in Washington, D.C. I specialize in Upper Northwest D.C., areas such as Spring Valley, AU Park, Wesley Heights, Forest Hills, Chevy Chase DC, Cleveland Park, and Glover Park to walk you through exactly where things stand. Not at the national level, not at the metro level, right here in your neighborhoods. By the end of the video, you'll understand how each property type is performing, what price range drives the most competition, and what that means if you're deciding whether to buy or sell this year. Let's start with the overall picture. Across all property types in Upper Northwest DC, active inventory had a peak at 729 listings in April and then dropped sharply to 575 by May. Sales, on the other hand, have climbed every single month, from 67 closed transactions in January to 156 in May. Months of supply, which is the clearest indicator of who has leverage in the market, went from 10 months in January down to 4 by May. That's a significant compression in a short window of time. An average days on market from 59 in January to 34 days in May. The market is accelerating, but those aggregate numbers are doing a lot of averaging. When you break it down by property type, the story gets much more specific. Single family homes are the standard. In May, there were 148 active single family homes listings across Upper Northwest and 75 closed sales. That's 2 months of supply, which by any definition is a seller's market. Average days to sell in May was 15 days. Well priced detached homes in Chevy Chase DC, Forest Hills, Spring Valley, and AU Park are moving fast. And in many cases, they are moving with multiple offers. We went from 7 months of supply in January to 2 months in May. That kind of trajectory tells you demand is consistent and inventory is being absorbed faster than it's being replenished. Townhouses are similarly tight. In May, there were 79 active townhouses listings and 30 sales. 3 months of supply with an average of 22 days to sell. Active inventory dropped from 118 in February all the way down to 79 by May. That's a 33% decline in available supply, while sales had steady. If you are a townhouse seller in this market, you are in a strong position. If you're a buyer targeting townhouses, you need to be prepared to move quickly and come in competitive. Now, here's where it gets interesting because condos and co ops tell a different story entirely. Condos had 261 active listings in May and only 40 sales. That's 7 months of supply. For context, a balanced market is typically 4 to 6 months. 7 months puts condos in buyer's market territory. The average CDOM, that's cumulative days on market, meaning the total time a listing has been active, including any prior listing periods, was 53 days in May. That's down significantly from a peak of 109 days in March, which is a positive sign, but it's still nearly double what single family homes are showing. Condo buyers in Upper Northwest DC have more time, more inventory to consider, and more room to negotiate. Co ops are even slower. In May, there were 84 active co op listings and 11 sales. 8 months of supply. Co-op CDOM hit 143 days in March before dropping to 49 in May. That dramatic swing suggests a wave of stale listings, either finally reducing their prices or coming off market entirely, followed by a flush of correctly priced inventory. Moving co op buyers in this market have real leverage, but sellers who price appropriately are still transacting. The key word is appropriately. So, what does the split mean practically? It means that if you own a single family home or a townhome in upper Northwest DC, you are operating in a fundamentally different market than if you own a condo or a co op. The strategy in pricing, the timeline, and the expectations are different. Anyone telling you the market is slow or the market is hot without specifying property type is giving you incomplete information. Let me take the single family home analysis one level deeper. Because the price tier data is where sellers and buyers both tend to make their biggest mistakes. Looking at all single family home closings in Upper Northwest DC from January through May 2026, homes priced under 1.5 million are in a category of their own. The under 1 million tier, which is a thin slice of the market with only 6 sales, average just 8 days to sell and closed at 105.8% of list price on average, meaning sellers got more than they asked. The 1 million to 1.5 million tier had 47 sales with an average of 9 days on market and a sales to list price ratio of 103.4%. These are bidding war conditions. If you're a buyer targeting homes in this price range in AO Park, Chevy Chase DC, or North Cleveland Park, come in strong. Hesitation is expensive. Once you cross the 1.5 million, the dynamic shift. Homes in the 1.5 to 2 million range average 19 days on market and sold at 99.2% of list price, essentially at asking, sometimes slightly below. The 2 to 3 million tier is similar. 18 days on market on average, 99.2% of list. These homes are still moving at a reasonable pace, but you don't typically see the same frenzied over ask competition. Accurate pricing matters more here because buyers are doing more due diligence and the pool of qualified buyers is smaller. Now, the 3 to 5 million range averaged 28 days to sell and came in at 98.7% of list. And the 5 million and above tier averaged 31 days on market with a sales to list ratio of 98.3%. These are still healthy numbers. Homes at this price point are transacting, but the pace is more deliberate, and buyers at this level have more patience and more negotiating room. Here's the pattern worth internalizing. The further up the price ladder you go in upper Northwest DC, the wider the gap between days on market and cumulative days on market gets. In the 2 to 3 million range, for example, the average days on market is 18 days, but the average cumulative days on market is 32 days. That gap represents homes that come on market, sat, got relisted, and then sold, which means buyers are watching how long a listing has actually been in circulation, not just how many days the current listing shows. Savvy buyers know that to check the CDOM, and sellers who have relisted need to factor that into their pricing strategy. Let me pull this together. If you are a seller in Upper Northwest DC right now, single family homes and townhomes priced under 2 million are moving with real momentum. If you're priced correctly in that range, you should expect strong activity in the first 2 weeks. Above 2 million, the market is still active, but pricing precision matters more, and you need an agent who understands how to position your home in a less liquid segment. And if you own a condo or co op, you are not in the same market as your neighbor in a detached home. Your strategy needs to reflect that reality. If you are a buyer, the competition is most intense around the 1.5 million, and you need to be pre approved, decisive, and ready to write a strong offer the day a listing hits. In the 2 million and above range, you have more time and more room to work with. But don't confuse a slower pace with a weak market. These homes are still selling. If you want to talk through your specific situation, whether you're thinking about listing, actively searching, or somewhere in the middle, trying to figure out your next move, reach out. I work with buyers and sellers across Upper Northwest DC every day, and I'm happy to walk you through exactly what the numbers mean for your property or your search. You can find me at ShirineMonir.com /YouTube. I'm Shireen Munir, and I'm here whenever you're ready.